Hey YouTube, alright, let me zoom in on this thing. Hopefully you watched my last video. If you didn't, go watch the last video so that some of this makes sense to you. Hopefully it makes sense. Trying to zoom in on this thing, get it adjusted. Hey, like I told you in my first video, not high tech, but as long as you learn, that's all that matters. Okay, good, we've got that. Alright, in the last video, I explained to you, I wrote this out so it'll be a lot easier to explain. It won't take me all this time. You can see I made a bunch of mistakes, but that's how this thing works. Alright, I explained how you've got notes in each key. And I showed you how the key of C, which was the most basic key for music, had no sharps, no flats. It's just C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then it starts over again at C. And I know none of this makes sense to you if you didn't watch that last video. It still might not make any sense to you because I'm having a hard time explaining it probably. But let's go through it again. All right. You get the key of C, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. What the heck is that? You hear whole steps, half steps. It makes no sense to anybody. That is the pattern that you use to figure out what notes are in each key. You have C, key of C, key of D, key of E, key of F, key of G, A, and B. And I know there's other keys. There's you get your minor keys. I'm just dealing with the majors now because it's a lot easier. I just want you to get a basic understanding of how this whole thing works. Once you understand it, you can figure out the rest of it on your own. Okay, so I explained how, let's take all these notes, which are the notes in the musical thing, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then I said that when you count notes, this is really how you count notes. You've got sharps in between certain notes. Between C and D, there's a sharp. It's C sharp. It could either be called C sharp or down D flat. Between D and E, you have D sharp going up or E flat. There are no sharps or flats between E and F. There's a sharp between F and G, so F sharp up, G flat back. G sharp up, A flat back. A sharp up, B flat back, and there's no sharp between B and C. And that's where it gets kind of tricky or confusing because everybody talks about whole steps and half steps written as a W or a whole or a half for the word half, and it gets hard to figure out. So if you can, I wasn't going to do this, but I thought, let me just write down all the notes for the keys. If you can see it all down here, it starts to make sense. It really makes a lot of sense. I showed you one example where first I did C and then I did the key of E. But if you don't understand it, hopefully this shows up on the video. You can write all this stuff down or you can freeze the screen, stop the video, and try to understand some of this. It will make a whole bunch of sense to you then. And then I'll show you an easier way to do this, either in this video or in the next video or video after that. A lot of stuff to explain to you, but hopefully it helps somebody. Okay, let's do the key of A. Remember the pattern of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And you can see I made some mistakes as I was trying to do this in my head, but all right, let's do the key of A. A starts off over here, and you want to go with the pattern of whole, whole. So you do the whole, whole, half. So from A, half over is A sharp, and you want a whole, so the next note is B. In the key of B, in the key of A, you've got A and B. And when you come over to B, you still have to do another whole. But we're at C, which takes us to a half. So let's go back over here. And you need the whole, so it's C sharp would be your next note. So you have whole, whole, and then from C sharp we need to do a half step. C sharp, a half step, D. That's your next note. Now you're never going to see any, I have yet to see anybody do this whole thing where they do half, 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 half. It's so easy to do and it makes so much sense. All they want to do is whole, 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 and they just screw you up because you're wondering, well, where the heck's why is there nothing between E and F and B and C? Why did this suddenly become a half and everything else is a whole? Well, now you understand. You've got this missing thing. There is no E sharp or F flat. There is no B sharp or C flat. That's where it gets kind of confusing. That's where it got confusing for me. Okay, so we've done whole, whole, half. We're at D. Now we have to go from D, we have to do another whole jump, takes us over to E. And then we have to do another whole jump over there, F sharp. And then another whole jump, G, G sharp, that's your whole. Takes you over to G sharp, and then you have to do a half, and you don't really need the half. But this is just for the example, so you understand why they say ho, ho, half, ho, 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 half. Okay, so from G sharp, half over is A. These are all the notes in the key of G. All right, I got to get some markers so this starts to make sense. It all falls into place if you start to. That's why I'm spending all this time doing this, because it all falls into place once you see where this is going with coming up with the notes in your key. All right, I don't want that page. I don't want that page. Okay, so now we see all the notes that we've got in all the keys. But you don't play those notes on your guitar. When you're playing a song in the key of D, check the battery. Sorry, high-tech video here. When you're playing a song in the key of D, you don't play all these notes. It would sound terrible. And it just would. If you listen to it, it would sound terrible. It wouldn't sound right. And, okay, so here are my notes. And this is a nice sloppy, messy chart, obviously. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to mark this off a little bit. Hopefully you can see that on the video. This makes a lot of sense in a minute. This will all start to make a lot of sense, how they come up with all this stuff that you see on these websites, and you wonder, well, why did they come up with these notes? How did they come up with these notes? Well, at least now you know how to figure out what the notes are in each key. And that is a big step forward. Okay, now, let's see. They label these, when you look at these charts on the internet, they label them, this is column 1, Roman numeral, column 2, column 3, column 4. Yeah, sorry about this high-tech quality crap that I'm throwing out here. Column 6. Don't really have a whiteboard. This is on my front door. Column 7. Stick with me. If you can understand this, it will all fall into place, as I said, over and over and over again. It really does. Okay, so this is going to be kind of cool now. What you do once you figure out all the notes in the keys, don't ask why. This is just how it is. This is showing up on the video. How far down? Yeah, we're getting close to the bottom of the page. Okay, column 2 becomes a minor. Column 3 becomes a minor note. Yeah, I don't write this bad, but like I said, I'm writing on a front door. It's kind of awkward. Column 6 becomes a minor column. Okay, well, what does that mean? It means that everything in this column, in the 3rd column, in the 6th column, is a minor. So, except, well, no, that's everything in the column is a minor. So now, D becomes a D minor, 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 minor. Yeah, I know you're starting to say, shut up, stop saying minor, you're driving me crazy, but almost done. Once, hopefully with my explanation and you seeing this now, you're going to understand why when you go on these websites, they come up, how did they come up with all this stuff? Well, you understand it now with a whole half, and now you understand why they came up with minors, because everything in, and this just makes music sound right. This is how the music in those keys, this makes it sound right. Okay, so everything in column 2, 3, and 6 is a minor. So now, when you play your songs, most of the time when we play songs, we play like C, A minor, E minor, G. Now you know where that came from. If you're in the key of F, a lot of times you'll do, or B, I love playing B. It's the same thing. Let me say that. You're looking at all this and you're going, what the hell is this? Why all these keys? Well, if you play in C, you're using all these notes. After a while, it becomes annoying. If you go into a different key, it's a different range of sounds. It's really the same pattern of tones going up and down, but it starts at a different point in the spectrum. So instead of playing a C, you could play a G. So if you were going to do a song where it was C, G, A minor, E minor, you could do it in the key of G. It would be G instead of C, and it would be E instead of G, and instead of A minor, it would be F sharp minor. Sounds so nice. Instead of E minor, it would be B minor. Totally awesome. Once you start doing this, you at least with me, I couldn't wait to learn how to fret these bar chords that I had never done before. Everything I did was in C, D, E, F, G, A minor, B, C. Had a hard time with B. Once you learn how to bar the B higher up, I think it's in the 7th fret, you don't have to screw with trying to do that B in the 2nd fret, which is just so hard to do. And I think I'm leaving something out here. I'm definitely leaving something out. I know I'm leaving something out. Do I have F? I screwed up here. I totally screwed up here. G minor, A minor. Okay. I really didn't screw up. Where I did the half, the whole half, I used A sharp. Most of the drawings, most of the charts listed as a B flat. I forgot to do that, so it could be A sharp or B flat. You usually see the B flat in there. I don't like it, but A sharp, well, B flat. That's another example. I had a hard time with doing the B. I was doing the B. I couldn't do the B with the 3 fingers. On an electric, it's very easy. On an acoustic, it's not so easy. I couldn't get the 3 fingers and bar the B this way, so I was trying to do the barring with the 2 fingers like the rock people do, and I couldn't get it in the 2nd fret. Went up and learned how to do the barring. I think it's in the 7th fret, and all of a sudden it was just an easy, standard major bar. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, you're not at that level yet. It will make sense later on down the line. But it was just an easy bar, so now when I do my B, I do it up, I think it's in the 7th fret, and I do my B minor or A sharp in the 6th fret as a major bar, and it's so much easier for me. All right, so now at least you understand how they come up with these notes with the minors, the minors in columns 2, 3, and 6. Okay, now, we're not done yet. We're definitely not done yet. All right, we got column, wow, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A minor. All right, you don't need this column. This column just took us over. This just was the repeat. This was the half, so you knew you completed the scale. So let's get rid of this column because you don't need it. That's not part of the key because, well, it is part of the key, but it's already over here. Now, let's look in this column 7. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B. You play B with any of these notes, it sounds terrible. You play anything in column 7 with any other notes in the scale, that's what this is called, I guess, the B key, and these are the notes in the scale of B. You play anything in this column 7, it sounds terrible. So you don't play anything in 7, and you don't need that column over there. So now you've got most of the stuff you see on the internet or on music sites. These are the notes in your key, like C, G, A minor, E minor, D minor, and did I say F? So really what you have for each key now is you have 3 majors, major, C major, F major, G major. You got 3 major columns, A major, D major, E major. You've got 3 minor columns. See that? 3 minor columns. Well, let me look at that. Why am I looking at that? And that's making no sense to me at all. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so there is an easier way to do this. But you need to understand, or you should understand, how you get to this point before you learn how to do it the easy way. And this chart is really messy. I know it's completely messy, but that's okay. You can write out your own chart at home. At least you're going to understand now the whole half, the pattern, your half, 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 half. You're going to understand how you come up with all these notes in each key, and then you're going to know that you get rid of, or your second column, your third column, and your sixth column are minors. You get rid of this seventh column because the notes don't fit in with the scale. They don't sound proper. And you get rid of this column because this is really just a repeat of the first column. So we've made major progress so far. All right. Now, I'm going to add something in here just because it's, you can add anybody that's playing seventh notes. I play some seventh notes. These are the main keys that you need. This is 95% of the notes you're going to play in the key of C. 3 majors, 3 minors. And I'm going to show that to you on the circle of fifths in a little bit. I'm going to show that to you on TertaChords, which I just learned about. Just another way to figure this thing out. Kind of confusing, but maybe not. All right. So 95% of the notes you're going to play in the key of B are going to be your 3 majors and your 3 minors. They all sound really good together. The key of A, your 3 majors, 3 minors, it goes the same. Each key, you're going to have 3 majors and 3 minors that sound really good. Now let's look over in column 5. You have G. Sometimes instead of using G, you can use a 7th note. You can use G7. This is going to be the 7th column. So you don't want to screw with that. You don't have to. All you really need to know is these 6 notes. That will get you through everything in your key. The 3 majors, the 3 minors. But you can go, like I said, over to column 5. Instead of over here, you have an A. You could add an A7. And what I do sometimes is instead of doing, when I'm messing around with chords, learning, instead of doing C, G, A minor, E minor, I will do C, G7, A minor, E minor. And it sounds really freaky. It sounds kind of good. Sometimes I'll do C, G7, A minor, E minor, then C, G, A minor, E minor. You can switch back and forth if you want. So just look at your column 5 over there. It's B7. No, C7. D7. E7. If this is a little too advanced for you, don't worry about it. And then F sharp. I think it's F sharp 7. I'm pretty sure it's F sharp. Oh, the marker's going dead. Pretty sure it's F sharp 7. So if this makes sense to you, if you want to add that into your knowledge bank, cool. If you don't really need to. This is another way to understand how they come up with, I'm probably going to shut off this video in a minute. It's another way to understand how you come up with all your notes inside your, in each key, how you come up with the notes in the scale for each key. That is where they figure all, that's how they figure all this stuff out. All right, what else do I want to tell you? I think I've covered everything on my notes. Wow, I've actually covered, yeah, I spent hours writing all these notes down because I wanted this to be a good learning experience for whoever watches it. And I'll probably get like 2 or 3 people that watch it, and then I'll get a bunch of people that write saying I don't know what I'm talking about. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes on this video. If I did, I'm sure somebody will let me know. Okay, but that is how you come up with these, with the keys in your, or the notes in your scales. And that's really about it. If you're ever in the key of D, most of your notes, the majority of your notes are going to be D, G, and A, and your minors are going to be B minor, F sharp minor, and E minor. If you don't know how to do F sharp minor, that's a bar chord. That's when it really forced me to say, I want to learn how to do these bar chords because I want to try the different keys. And F sharp minor, incredible. I bounce back and forth between F sharp minor and where is it in the chart over here? I love going between F sharp minor and B minor. Just beautiful. It's in the same fret going from a bar going up and down. Same thing with B. I love the key of B. Going between C sharp minor and G sharp minor. They're right above each other. Just sounds so good. The key of A, I'm starting to love that. B minor F sharp minor, C sharp minor. Beautiful. That's when you really start to see the guitar sounds much better than just doing the typical key of C, which most of us do, and then we end up with the key of G, which is really most of the same notes as the key of C, except you got a couple of like the F sharp and the B minor there. So most of us play in the key of C, the key of G, and the key of D when we first learn. They're all the basic notes. And then after that, let me look at that. Is that right, what I just did there? Yeah, after that, this will help you advance a lot. It helped me advance. When I figured this stuff out, when I understood it, I didn't figure it out. When I understood it, within about 3 weeks, I just went through all these bar chords. I just sat on the floor for hours and hours each night, going back and forth between playing the same thing: C, G, A minor, E minor, D, A, B minor, what the heck is that? Whatever the heck it is. You understand what I'm saying, hopefully. I just repeated whatever I was playing in the key of C, I played it in the key of D, key of E, key of F, key of G, A and B, just because I knew the same pattern. I could hear the same sound in a different key, and that helped me helped me to want to play better and to learn more. All right, I'm going to shut off this video. Next video is going to be, I'm going to do TertaChords. Wow, I shut this off at the exact same point in the last video. I'm going to try to explain this tetrachord thing to you, which is a little weird, a little confusing, and then I'm going to do the circle of fifths, which explains all of this, and it's so much easier to do, and you go like, wow, why did I waste my time with this thing? But you need to understand, the circle of fifths means nothing to you until you understand this, and then you can look at the circle of fifths and say, ah, so that's what they're doing. Now that makes sense to me also. All right, go on to the next video in a few minutes.